Along with adjusting this all or nothing thinking, getting more of this 80-20 approach, you want to start thinking about the approach that you're taking as from the spectrum from like optimal to suboptimal to somewhat helpful, all the way down to maybe not helpful as much as you'd want it to be helpful, right? And I don't want to go all the way down to useless, because the truth of the matter is, as soon as you enter onto this spectrum, as soon as you try doing something, it's better than nothing. So there isn't such thing as useless. Now, is it going to be as quick and efficient as another approach? Most likely not, but I would argue that there's no such thing as useless. Just starting something often makes somewhat of a change, might help you gain some momentum, might get you motivated. So remember, it's a spectrum. Something is still better than nothing. And even that being said, optimal is not for everyone. Optimal might be you have to do resistance training 4 times a week, cardio 3 times a week, stretching 3 times a week. You have to sleep 8 hours a day, get 8 glasses of water, make sure you're in a calorie deficit, make sure you're getting enough protein, make sure this, make sure that, make sure that. And all of this is too much for you to do right now. So although that might be considered optimal, it's not even applicable to you. Like, why do we even care what optimal is if you can't do it, if you can't keep it up? Because if we're looking at it that way, we're assuming that if we're not doing optimal, we're not doing enough. But enough is what you're able to do right now. Just something is better than nothing. So one of the questions like, oh, if I want to change my physique, is there a way for me to not do resistance training? Technically, yes. Only doing cardio for physique can work to an extent, but it's definitely suboptimal. Resistance training is going to be better for maintaining muscle. Now, the truth of the matter is, if you weigh more, it's less of an issue trying to maintain muscle. But the closer you get to your goal, the more important resistance training is going to be, because there gets to a point where you'll lose the muscle that you want to maintain and you'll look more like bone and flesh rather than an unidentifiable muscle. So it's almost like they're all together in some way. Very similar to having a little bit too much body fat. Your muscles look all like one piece rather than individual tone, right? So remember the spectrum of body fat. So it doesn't matter if you could do resistance training or not. There's a suboptimal approach and an optimal approach, and maybe something close to not useful. But in the end, something is better than nothing. Suboptimal is still important. So stop worrying about being perfect and stop worrying about having the optimal plan, the perfect plan, because often that's getting in the way of you even starting. And more often, it's you looking at this in the wrong way because you're looking at it on or off. There is a spectrum where it comes to this. Suboptimal is better than nothing at all.